content as possible. So please be sure to subscribe to our channel if you haven't already to get more of our videos once or twice a week. Okay, so this is a very common question. Working with different lash curls. What are these lash curls, and when should you pick a certain lash curl to work with? So let's take a look at this image. I'm gonna have it on for you guys so that you're able to actually look at all the curls that are available and be able to pick one. So like 10 years ago or even like 8 years ago, there was really not that many options. There was only C curl, B curl, and D curl. But now there's so many different options. So how do you know which one would work for your client and which one you should pick? So it depends. The question is simple, but the answer is actually not that simple, because it also really depends on what is it that your client wants and their facial features, as well as the way that their lashes are growing. So it's a little bit of a complex question. However, if you're able to really understand very well the curls and what is it that they do, you're going to be able to critically think and decide for yourself, after consulting with your client, which curl would be appropriate for them. So it really depends. Like, for example, if a client wants a very natural look and their lashes are straight and they want a natural look, are you going to use like a L curl, which gives a lifting effect? However, you know, it can also be natural, but then you can also pick B curl or C curl, which will be even more natural and will not have that lifting effect. So you really have to learn your curls, learn what they're good for, what kind of eye shapes, what kind of lashes they're good for, and then take it from there. Evaluate each client and each situation individually, because there's no simple answer as to, okay, your client has straight lashes, you can only use these curls. No, it depends. You know, if you wanna correct a certain asymmetry, or if the client wants a really dramatic look, you can use a D curl. However, you're gonna have to be aware, and the client is gonna have to be aware, that since it's a curlier curl, it's actually going to, the retention could potentially not be as good as with a flatter curl. So you kind of have to weigh it out and educate your clients, educate yourself, so that you know what you're talking about. And when they ask you questions or tell you, oh, a lot of my lashes fell out this time, you could say, oh, it's possible because your lashes are, you know, pointing downwards or fairly straight, and we used the D curl on you, and so there wasn't as much surface area for attachment, and so this is the reason. We could try a flatter curl next time. And so the client is going to be really impressed, because they're going to say, this lash artist knows what they're talking about. They know the curls, they know exactly what's going on. Let me stick with them, because you know, no one else seems to know, or not that many lash artists know. So anyhow, let's get into it. Let's take a look at the different curls. We're going to start with the flatter curls and move on to the more curlier and newer exotic curls. So the first curl we're going to talk about is actually the J curl. This is not a very common curl. I don't see it as much anymore. Not that many people use it, because it is very, very natural. It has no curl whatsoever. It really is almost flat. So which kind of clients would this curl be appropriate for? So it would be appropriate for clients that are like really, really natural, older, more mature clients that are that really just want a little bit of an extra you know, look like they're wearing a little bit of mascara, but not too much. You have to keep in mind, it has absolutely no curl whatsoever. Another possible area you could use this curl for is for the inner corners, and for the baby, well, not the baby lashes, but the shorter lashes, so that it doesn't break the lashes. Since they're shorter in the inner corners, you can use this J curl, and it would look good. So that's the J curl. Not my personal favorite one, but there is space, a place and time that this curl can be used. Now, the next curl is a little bit more curly than the J curl, but still, it is still considered to be one of the flatter curls. It just has a tiny bit more of a curl to it, but it still is considered flat. This is another curl that would be really good for inner corners. It's a really good curl for really natural looking clients. You can also use it on mature clients. And it tends to have a very good retention because since it's flat, it has more surface area on the extension and the natural lash. So you're actually able to glue a lot more of the extension to the natural lash. And so that ends up giving the client better retention. So that's the advantage of it. Now the next curl we're going to talk about is actually the C curl. So the C curl is one of the most popular curls. I would strongly recommend it for beginners when you're just starting out, because I would say 80% of your clients' lashes will kind of mimic the C curl. And so it still has a little bit more of a natural effect to it. However, if you use longer lengths and bigger volumes, volume or mega volume, it can be dramatic. However, it's not going to be as curly as D curl. It's a good curl to start for beginners. This is the one that I would recommend for beginners to stock up on, because it's a common question we get, like which curls and lengths should I stock up on as a beginner, and C curl is one of them. So that's what the C curl is actually good for. Then the next curl is actually the CC curl. So the CC curl is actually a little bit more curlier than the C curl, but it's less curlier than the D curl. So it's like that curl in between. Sometimes it's also called the C plus curl as well. The next curl we're going to talk about is actually the D curl. So the D curl is the curliest curl. It's a tongue twister. Curliest curl of them all. It has a lot of drama. It's really good for young clients that really like the bright-eyed, bushy-tailed look, that like to wear a lot of makeup, that like the mega volume look. So that's what a lot of lash artists use the D curl for, and it works really well for those types of clients. However, one of the disadvantages of the D curl is if your client has flatter or downward facing lashes, you're going to have less surface area where the lash extension adheres to the actual natural lash. And so what's going to end up happening is, since the D curl is like this, and this is the natural lash, you can see that there's less surface area of adhesion rather than the curl that's flat. And so what's going to end up happening is it's going to pop off much easier. So that's one thing to keep in mind for D curls. This isn't going to affect clients that have curlier natural lashes, because since their natural lash is curly and the D curl is curlier also, they're going to have a fairly good surface area. But it's for those clients that have flat lashes or downward facing lashes, they could potentially have problems with lash retention. Not necessarily, but they could. So the next curl we're going to talk about is the L curl. The L curl is actually one of the hottest curls right now. It's really popular. Clients are loving it. Clients are asking for it. It's a really fun curl to work with, because it really gives that nice cat eye effect, since the curls are, it's a very sharp curl, so it actually, like, the angle here on the curl is almost like 90 degrees. And so it's really fun to work with. It's really good for straight lashes. It was initially developed for Asian eyes and hooded eyes. So it gives a really nice lift for hooded eyes as well, and good for straight lashes, as I mentioned. It also gives a really good retention as well, simply because the base of it is really flat, so it lies really flat on the natural lash and provides a really good point of contact. So that's what this curl is good for. However, it is not for everyone. Some clients don't really like it just specifically for that reason, because it really is an exotic curl. It's not necessarily for someone who's more traditional and likes a very natural look, because it definitely, you know, looks like you're potentially wearing mascara, or like you have like a cat eye eyeliner effect. So it's not for everyone, but there is a market out there for it, and I suspect that in the coming years we're going to see more and more demand for the L curl. Now the L plus curl is a mix between the L and the D curl. So it has a slightly more curved angle where at the bend. However, it still has that nice lifting effect that the L curl has, which is really nice. So it's good for lifting up hooded eyes as well. So the M curl is also one of the newer curls, and it comes from the same family as the L and L plus curls. It also has the same benefit of awesome retention and not as sharp of a bend as the L curl. So I hope you guys like this video. We're gonna make another one for you guys on how to mix those curls together.